Hello, everyone. Clint Weeder here, along with Andrew Steffensmeyer with McMill CPAs, coming to you here to talk to you a little bit about the new Nebraska Property Tax Incentive Act that was passed here in 2020. The last time there was property tax relief, you may be aware that there's a credit that went right on your property tax statement. And so when you paid your county taxes every year, that credit was taken directly off of that. Well, with this new round of property tax relief, the tax credit's actually going to go on your 2020 Nebraska tax return here for starting in 2020 and here forward for at least the next couple years, the way it sounds. So with that, we thought it'd be helpful, since this is brand new, to kind of walk you through, one, what the credit is and what it's for, and then two, just to help you navigate figuring out how do you determine the credit, because we'll need that information from you to make sure we get you the full credit that you're due on your Nebraska tax return. And that credit's going to be a fully refundable credit. So if you don't owe any Nebraska tax, you'll get this credit as a refund when you file your Nebraska tax return. Or if you owe any Nebraska tax, it will just lower your tax liability overall for the state of Nebraska. So part of this tax relief, it was included as part of LB 1107, which was passed here in 2020. And with that, just to give you a little bit of a look what this form is going to look like here, that will go in your tax return. It's called the form PTC 2020. And we're going to kind of walk you through how we are going to need you to gather the information for us so we can help complete the schedule right here. And Andrew's going to walk us through everything that we need for that. So Andrew, just if you could just treat me like I'm a client of yours and you're trying to walk me through how to gather this information.
Sure. So this Lookup tool came out, I want to say last Friday, I believe, late Friday. So very new tool. So there are some kinks in it. So if you do get some sort of error message, try to log back in. But what this Lookup tool is doing is we basically need to figure out what county you pay tax in. We need that parcel number for whatever parcel you paid tax on, and then what year we're using. And so really what this tool is meant to do is, you know, if you paid $4,000 of real estate tax, we have to carve out the school district tax paid out of that. And so this credit basically takes that school district tax times 6%, and that's our credit. So it's not as good as, you know, total property tax times 6%. That's not what we get. And so this Lookup tool is meant to, you know, bridge us from paying property tax to how we fill out this, you know, PTC form that Clint just went over. And so we'll go through an example here. We do have a parcel number here in town for Hy-Vee that we're just going to use as an example.
Perfect. So Andrew, where am I going to be able to find these links at? Is it going to be included in your email blast, or where are we going to get this at?
Yep, so we'll be email blasting all our clients to make sure everybody's aware of this tool so you can prepare this form for us. So yes, these links to the tools will be on our website as well. So awesome. In the email blast and on the website. So if you want to click there for the tax Lookup tool. So this is our main screen. As you see on the top, there's 5 steps to getting this form. So takes you know, 5 minutes to do if you have all your information. So first off, we're going to use the county. So in our case for Hy-Vee, we're going to use Madison County. And then we are going to include that parcel number. And so this is where you look at your real estate tax statement and just input that parcel ID. Make sure you include that 0 before the 5 if you're in Madison County. And then lastly, we put in the property tax statement year. And so what that means is the year we're paying tax in 2020, but we're actually paying 2019's taxes in 2020, since we always pay those in arrears. So like Clint's showing you here, you can click any of these question mark boxes and it will give you some good information on how to fill out that field. 99% of the time, we're going to leave this as the 2019 tax year, unless you're paying forward your taxes, which doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So if you are paying forward, you'd enter 2020 in there. So we'll go to our next screen here. really the result is just saying, we use this lookup tool and this is what we found. So just review this information and then we'll click on next. Step 3, they want to know about ownership. So did your ownership in this parcel change throughout the year? If so, tell them when the ownership began, and then that ended date is always going to be 12/31 unless you sold before the end of the year. And then that second question, was the parcel owned by more than one person? Again, 99% of the time, this is not going to apply, but if you do have somebody else co-owning a piece of property, this is where you put in your share. So go on to step 4 here. This is what comes up. It's looked through the lookup tool and it's now telling you that last year you paid $997 of payments that were received by the treasurer. So this is all information that's populating in on this form. We don't want to change that 997, even though they make that editable. So again, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, we're going to leave that number the same, unless for whatever reason you feel you need to change that. But as of now, we're discouraging that unless you have that.
Now, if I think it's wrong, should I let you know?
Yes, or we can, go through to step 5 and it will tell you if you did make more or less. And so we'll keep going here. And so this page 5, this is our printout. This is what we're using this lookup tool for, and this is what you would bring us as a tax preparer. So we can take this one sheet and then input it on the tax return. So on step 4, we saw that we paid about $997 of property tax, but of that $997, only $539 of that is eligible for this credit. And so that's why we're using this tool. So as preparers, we're going to type in that 539, and then your 6% tax credit is based on that amount. And if you do own several parcels in different counties, you can aggregate them all in this step 5. So we'll show you how to do a second parcel here quickly. And it doesn't matter, it can be different counties, same counties. So in our example, it'll be another Madison County parcel. We'll keep going through here, kind of breeze through it this time. So obviously this parcel we paid more real estate tax on. And so it will aggregate everything for you. And then once you have all your parcels on this spreadsheet or on this printout, we can print that worksheet. And then if you include that with all your other tax documents, that's going to give us enough information to prepare that credit a lot quicker. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. I know, again, there are a lot of those question marks all over this lookup tool. So those are very important to reference if you're not sure what to put in that field.
Awesome. Now, what if I prepaid my property taxes here for the 2020 tax year? So I paid 2 years on the same parcel here, for example. Do I just go back here to search another parcel, include that one, and then what do I need to do?
Right. So if you are someone in that 5 to 10% that you're paying forward, then yeah, you can use the same tool. And then all you're going to do, instead of using the property tax statement year 2019, we're just going to use 2020.
Got it.
And you can aggregate that. So even if you double paid, you can put it all on that nice worksheet in step 5.
Perfect. Perfect. And then overall, you said all that information is going to go on this tax form here, and then total will be here. And then basically up here, it'll calculate the 6% on that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for walking us through that, Andrew.
You betcha.
All right. Well, that's just a quick overview of this new property tax relief that we wanted you guys to be all aware of. Like Andrew said, all the links are going to be included with the email blast to access not only this lookup tool, but if you need help finding your parcel ID numbers, that'll be included there as well. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. But this would be a huge help to us because you guys know best what real estate you guys own and paid property tax on here this last year. So we want to make sure we get everything handled there correctly. And then just another item we want to bring your attention just to make sure with this stimulus that's come out here in 2020, round one through the CARES Act, and then there's a second round that came out here at the beginning of 2021 here in January. We'll need to know exactly how much stimulus you guys received in both rounds. Again, you will not be taxed on that stimulus money, but we do need to reconcile that on your tax returns just to make sure that you guys got the full amount that you were due. And maybe Andrew, you can give us a couple examples of situations where it might increase somebody's refund or lower their tax liability.
Sure. So first or second round, if you didn't receive the full amount and you had a child in 2020 that obviously the IRS doesn't know about, then you can actually get a little bit more back of the stimulus if you didn't receive the full amount. If you got the full amount, it'd be nice just to know, just let us know the totals that you got for round one and the total for round two. And then we'll be able to input that and make sure we're taking advantage of those stimulus payments. And another situation I've seen is if your income is lower in 2020 compared to 2019 and you didn't receive the full amount either on the first or second round, then we can get a little bit more on the stimulus.
Yeah, and starting to see in situations too with somebody that was claimed as a dependent on the 2019 tax return by their parents, but they're now for 2020 claiming themselves, they'd be able to get the $1,200 plus the $600 potentially, so it's $1,800 there. So yeah, there's a lot of different situations, so make sure you let us know if you didn't get the full amount and what amounts you did get exactly so we can determine if there's any additional money due to you. All right. You got anything else, Andrew?
I think we covered that. Again, let us know if you have questions, but this lookup tool does have a lot of tools to answer some of those questions based on which field you're in.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys listening. And like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. And stay healthy and stay warm this week for sure. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.